For more, let's cross to France 24's Armin Georgian. Armin, we mentioned there was a bit of dissension in the ranks when that vote took place in Parliament.
Yeah, that's right, Francois. So although this bill did pass on its first reading by a fairly comfortable margin, 288 votes for it, 104 against, nonetheless, there were 66 abstentions, which I found interesting. So that clearly suggests there are MPs who don't want to openly defy President Macron, but who are not happy with the way things are going, and they're probably hoping that this bill will be further modified because, of course, it will go to the upper house of Parliament, the Senate, in January. It could then come back to the lower house for another reading and another vote. So clearly, yes, still some dissent in the ranks.
Armin, this coming as there have been not one but two investigations opened into an incident that took place Monday evening in Paris. Police brutally expelling migrants who had camped out on the famed Place de la République, and the government has been under pressure since. Let's listen to Emmanuel Macron's new interior minister.
Le préfet de police. The chief of police handed me a very detailed report that mentioned behavior that both me and you could qualify as very serious. I immediately referred the matter to the police disciplinary body. I asked them to make me a report within 48 hours that I will make public. But even though I'm here to condemn in unequivocal terms all those officers who don't respect the code of ethics, I'd also like to underline my unwavering support for the majority of those security forces who risk their lives for us.
Now, Armin, this is a new interior minister whose political family is the right. And is it a change of tack for Emmanuel Macron?
Well, I'm not sure it's really a major change of tack because Macron has essentially needed throughout his presidency to keep the police unions on his side because his base is not really in the police unions, it's in the civil service. Remember that Macron's movement, it's now a party, Republic on the Move, it was a new party, it was essentially created in 2017 when he became president, whereas a traditional party, whether on the right or left, it has its established networks within the police. That was not the case for President Macron when he came to power. So he's been keenly aware ever since of the need to keep police on side. And of course, the new interior minister, well, he's caught between two things, isn't he? On the one hand, when these images, these shocking images of police behavior are made public, he obviously has to condemn that police behavior, but he also has to keep listening to police unions who've been saying for several years, we've been under a lot of pressure. They've pointed to, for example, Operation Sentry, Sentinelle, which has been in place ever since the terrorist attacks at the beginning of 2015. That's put pressure on police resources. The police have also, of course, had to deal with various episodes of civil unrests from the Yellow Vest protests to protests against pension reforms. The police have also had to enforce two lockdowns. And there was also an interesting, I think, effect from the US, which happened between the two lockdowns. That was the George Floyd effect and the Black Lives Matter movement, where we saw protests in defiance of rules against major gatherings happening between the two lockdowns in support of Adama Traoré's family. Of course, Adama Traoré was a young man who died in police custody in France. So essentially, the police unions, they've been saying we've had a lot of things, a lot of challenges to deal with, and we need more support from the government. And that is something that Macron absolutely can't ignore.
Armin Georgian, many thanks for that update.